Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in today's episode, I want to talk with you about the 3 things that I do when business gets slow. Let's get started. I've always been curious about how people navigate adversity, right? I think adversity really kind of shows us a lot about somebody. Are they somebody who becomes defensive? Do they play the victim? Do they assign blame elsewhere? Do they get really conservative and pull back? How do they approach it, right? Because I think that from an observation standpoint, the people that I've seen be most successful in navigating adversity, or the people who've had the most success that I've been around, are the ones who navigate adversity the best. And that doesn't really matter if we're talking about sports or life or business. But when it comes specifically to business, I've tried to be a student of this as much as I could. And over time, there are 3 things that I've learned or adopted that I try to put into practice every time business, if you want to call it adversity, strikes, when things slow down, when something doesn't work. The first is I dive in and immerse myself in ideas. I'll go back, I'll listen to podcasts, I'll read or listen to books, I'll go back and look at old newsletters, I'll look at things in my Google Drive that I've done in the past. I'll talk to sharp business owners and get ideas there. I'm a big fan of just kind of immersing myself in that stuff. Not necessarily that it always creates ideas or I pull ideas directly from that, but I can't tell you the dozens, if not hundreds of times that I've been able to just, hey, I'm listening to a podcast or an audio book while I'm out on a walk, and all of a sudden ideas kind of pop into my head. Maybe completely unrelated to what I was studying, but just really kind of immersing myself in ideas and just kind of getting those wheels turning. I think that has historically helped me a lot. The second thing that I do is I try to get personal. I know that conversations create conversions, conversations create momentum, conversations create opportunity. And in some ways, it's just taking action just to get things in motion, right? So, I try to do a lot of personal outreach. I try to create engagement in as many ways as possible because, it's a people business. It is, it's something where the more people I talk to, whether or not that results in like new business directly, it's always a win, right? It's ideas, it's awareness of what's happening in the market. Yeah, it may be opportunities to solve somebody's problem. It may just give me ideas about, hey, this is how people are viewing the problem, or this is what people are looking for. But more conversations, without exception, has resulted in positive forward movement for me. And then the third is, I kind of get aggressive, right? I double down on making more offers and even investing in coaching or consulting or something like that too. I think that there's just a mentality there that, you know what, I'm going to bet on me. Every time something gets a little slower, I'm going to bet on me. And that means that I'll bet on my ability to go and come up with solutions and make offers that eventually kind of land and resonate with somebody. But then also investing in coaching. I'm very much a believer that I would be kind of a hypocrite if I didn't invest in outside expertise, but I'm telling other people to. And I think that sort of kind of, if you want to call that woo-woo or whatever else, that kind of speaking to the universe thing, I don't necessarily know that that's how I approach it. But I know that, it kind of takes me back to that, hey, I'm immersing myself in ideas. And so if I invest, I'm going to go and find ideas, and I'm going to have some skin in the game to study those ideas. But I also think that it's just this kind of indication to myself that, hey, as an entrepreneur, the standard is bet on yourself and go take what you learn, what you can have access to, and use it. And so, I've historically always done that. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small. But I think those three things, have historically allowed me to navigate adversity really well. And the other kind of unspoken part of this is you don't really dwell in the problem a whole lot with that approach. You're focusing on the solution. And maybe that's a coping mechanism for me, but anytime adversity has kind of reared its head in my world, I didn't spend a whole lot of time playing the victim. Hey, why is this happening? Whatever else, as much as how do we fix it? How do we solve the problem? Who knows the answers, right? I don't have to know the answers. Somebody else knows the answers, and I'm going to go find that somebody. And again, I remember when my son Alex got sick with kind of a hard to understand at the time autoimmune condition that was really causing him so many challenges and, leading to a lot of, stress in our household, in some ways just kind of being helpless because you can't solve that problem for your child. And I just doubled down and was kind of relentless on the things that I would study, the people that I would talk to in the medical field, the things that we would do, the kind of, interventions or solutions we'd try to find. And it really helped me understand functional medicine a whole lot better as an afterthought. And I think that sort of approach, it allowed me not to just sit there and be kind of sad and depressed and frustrated with the circumstances at hand. It was like, no, I have a purpose now. This is something that I'm going to go out here and do the best I can with. And so it's not exactly the same, but it's similar. It's the same thing when I was coaching college baseball. I was definitely not somebody who, hey, we lose a doubleheader, I'm going to go drown my sorrows at the corner bar. It was like, I'm going to go recruit. We're going to get better. How can I become better at player development? How can I become better at game strategy? How can I go out and recruit players who are equipped to play at a higher level? And, that, I think, again, that comes back to that betting on yourself mentality. And if you want to be a business owner, you've essentially, for better or worse, you've bet on yourself. You said, okay, I'm going to solve the problems. I'm going to move things forward. I trust that I can really do better here with me leading the charge. And I personally love that, but it doesn't come without challenges. It doesn't come without obstacles, but that also means opportunities. If I can navigate the obstacles and challenges better than the next person, then that gives me a competitive advantage, and it gives you a competitive advantage too. So if you want to handle adversity better, if you want to, navigate how to respond when things get slow, those three steps, right? Studying, getting more personal, doing more personal outreach, and then becoming aggressive, more offers, more investment in you. Those three things have paid dividends for me time and time again for really my entire professional life, and I'm certain they will for you too.